You made it! So did I, actually. My apologies. First of all, we had this scheduled as a webinar, and Jennifer and I are training a new intern. And the email was written to let you know the webinar was on Thursday, but when the intern scheduled the webinar, she scheduled it for Wednesday. So I do apologize for the mix-up on the days. This happens when you're training new people. I totally accept responsibility for that. I should have double-checked. I read the email, but I didn't see the final product when it went out and didn't notice until Jennifer got a hold of me and said, it says Wednesday in the email. So I do apologize for that. Second of all, thank you for your patience. I have been out of town for the past week and a half, dealing with some family issues. My mom is in assisted living. And that's a new situation for us. It's a new situation for her. And the siblings are all having conversations about what's best for mom. And that can bring up some interesting conversations and relationships, and they can be a little bit delicate. So that's been an ongoing thing. My daughter is pregnant and she's expecting her first baby. It's our first grandbaby. And then she was in a car accident. She's fine, the baby's fine, but the car was totaled. So we were actually short a car. Now we're short 2 cars. And so kind of been dealing with that situation and new car buying and the travel, and then plus working on this program. So I really, really appreciate your patience. And those of you who know me personally and know a little bit more about what's going on. So thank you for those thoughts and prayers. Keep them coming as we continue working on this amazing new program. So I wanted to give you, I've got like 3 computers open here, or 3 screens open. I wanted to give you an idea of, first of all, where we were this past month and how the beta testing worked out for us this past month and some of your amazing feedback, and then give you the opportunity to continue working in the beta program. Now, some people, a lot of people actually have already contacted me. They know they want to do month 2 and month 3. So if you know that you want to do month 2 and month 3, those links are below this video. I'm going to post this on YouTube, so just go down and you can click the link that says month 2 and month 3, beta 2, beta 3, and that will set you up for a payment plan now, and then another automatically will come out next month, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Or if you just want to take it one step at a time and go into month 2 and see where it's going to go, you can do that as well, but that link is also below this video. So let's take a look at where we are and some of the comments and some of the feedback, and then I want to show you what we're going to be doing in month 2 and month 3 based on your survey results and the comments and suggestions that you have made. So number 1 is week 1. And week 1 was really just looking at the layout. That's really the most important thing that we wanted to concentrate on, is which layout you preferred. Did you prefer layout number 1 or layout number 2? And hands down, you can see over 75% of you said option 2, which was the subfolders. So that one was pretty easy, but I think a lot of the comments I wanted to share, not a lot of the comments, I wanted to share some of these comments with you. People thought option 2 had the advantage because you don't need a scroll bar. And then so you can see everything right there and you don't have to scroll through the whole list. And that's something I didn't even think about, but that's a really good point. Thank you for doing this. It's awesome. Wish I had more time to take it all in. This is something that consistently came up in every week. It's like the information was a fire hose, too much information at once. Now here I'm trying to provide quality and value and give you a lot of information, but people are overwhelmed. So now I know that when we release the program, I have to release it in smaller bites. It's too much for people to consume all at once. So that was a super important point on something that I've been doing this for over 35 years, and you forget what you know and that people don't know. So many people said this same thing. I'm excited to see the rest of the course. Already the content has been very practical. And again, that was week 1. So that was heartwarming. I really appreciated that. I like the sections and folders, more organized, less cluttered. And less cluttered is all what I'm about. Here's somebody that was kind of between the two. Option 1's best for navigating, but option 2 is for a reference, unless the lessons have to be completed in a specific order, which they kind of do. And there's always those favorites. So this was somebody that I really appreciated the thoughtful response. I think this was actually edited down of a longer response on that, and I really appreciate those thoughtful responses. So week 1 was kind of easy. Week 2, we got into body types, and here's where I got in trouble. So it was important for me to know because I thought I had fine-tuned this and I haven't. But this was really good. Were you able to clearly define your primary body type Over 82% of you said yes. So that was good. I feel really uncomfortable about that 17.5%. So there's obviously work that we need to do. Now, here's where I really crashed and burned, was on secondary body type. Obviously, more than just visuals is going to be needed, better explanations. And that was reflected in some of your comments because the confidence level here was not where I really wanted it to be. I wanted it to be much higher on that 10 range. Here is the consistent comment that I got from week 2. Sometimes there's too much. Again, it goes back to that fire hose comment. There's just too much detail. Someone else said, what would have helped you to more clearly define your primary? Oh, that was a question that I asked. What would more help you clearly define? And many of you said the worksheet. Well, as I put right at the top of that, worksheet is in production, but we have to finish the program before we know exactly what has to be in the worksheet. So that's what, do we put too much, not enough, and it's like, do you need all those measurements? Do you need less? So that's something that's ongoing, and that's coming up probably in beta 2, month 2. We'll talk about more about the worksheet, and you'll get to see samples of that. What would help you know your primary body type? Somebody said Colleen herself, which I know you can't do, which is right. But you're a beta tester, so yes, I can. I will help you individually and personally because you are a beta tester. I want you to get this down perfectly. Because like I said before, I'm hoping to get a testimonial from you, and I'd love your before and after. A second pair of eyes. This was an important concept, and this is why I put in this last survey about Facebook group. If you had a Facebook group that you could post your pictures in and get other people's opinions. And of course, I would be there as the moderator, or some people that work for me that would be trained in this will be there to moderate as well to help you decide. So a second pair of eyes is where the Facebook group, not Facebook Live, Facebook group came into play. Someone else said a better explanation between the difference between primary and secondary, and where the muscle from lifting counts as weight gain, which it does not, by the way. So that's something that was an important point. A few atypical measurement examples for each body type. This is problematic because that's pretty much everybody. Everybody's atypical. There is no typical body type. Measurements only match parts of 3 different. That left me quite confused. But since I tend to overthink and overanalyze, looking at my silhouette didn't help either. And this goes, again, back to the fire hose. Is it too much? Is there too much detail? Is there too much information? Would it be better off just doing a silhouette within the first month and then later in the program introducing more in-depth details? I don't know. You tell me. Maybe that's something that's more important instead of giving so many details about body type and primary and secondary and unique bodily characteristics. Maybe just doing silhouettes the first couple of weeks. And then once you get your silhouette down, then start fine-tuning some of the other details and then reintroduce more detail about a body type. I don't know. That's something we really have to test maybe in the next round before we finally release the program. Someone else said more specifics about the secondary body type, which we knew from the survey that a lot of people didn't, not enough people got their secondary. The visual silhouettes with the vertical lines showing the wider hips, narrow shoulders, easily seen together on one chart. That was an excellent point. I never thought about putting them on one chart. So that was very helpful. Real people. I think I'm between types. Everybody's between types. And real people, that's where I'm hoping that you will come in. I'm hoping to get more real people pictures that we can showcase so that people will see that everyone is super unique. Oh, somebody's texting me. Sorry. I'm always second guessing myself, but Colleen's instructions and descriptions are pretty clear. So that I like to throw some of the good ones in there with the helpful ones. I had to put this in here because I laughed so hard, and I love you, whoever said this. A volunteer that has intestinal fortitude in order to draw my outline. And number 2, get me liquored up to the point that I enjoy having my picture taken because I usually avoid the camera like the plague unless I'm taking said pictures. And I think that's me too. So if you said this, girl, I love you. You get me because that's me. All right, so week 3 was the closet clearing. Whoa, girlfriend, did this cause a lot of conversation? Because in the first round of the first 2 rounds of testing, now we're in the 3rd round of testing, or the 4th, I forget. Anyway, in the beginning, people said by the time I introduced when to start clearing out your closet, it was such a massive project that people felt overwhelmed. They were thinking that it should have been introduced earlier, after body types, so you could go through and say, this skirt I know is not going to work for me. I don't care what color season I am. I don't care what my lifestyle analysis shows. I don't care if I've got a pear-shaped body, a skirt with ruffles and gathers at the waistline, no matter what color, what style, what lifestyle, what personality it is, that skirt's not going to work for me. So I might as well just get rid of it now. So that's why I wanted to introduce the beginning to closet clearing earlier in the program. But y'all made some really astute observations and really helpful comments. So most people, 95% of the people, were very comfortable saying, okay, now I can go into my closet and I know that's not going to work for my silhouette. No matter what the color is, the style, personality, the lifestyle, I know that doesn't work for a pear shape, or I know that doesn't work for a inverted triangle or apple or whatever. So 95% of the people said, yeah, I'm comfortable. Some people, these are some of the comments that people said, no other information seems necessary. But then on the flip side, people said more information and examples for all the body types might be easier to answer if all the rectangle information was posted. And I know that's a work in progress. So here's the thing about the rectangle. And I don't know if I told Darcy to make this comment, or I made the comment, or maybe Andrew made the comment. I don't know. But the rectangle body type is really basic. There's not as much information to give. It's real simple information to give on the rectangle body type. But I let you know, all y'all rectangles, I hear you. I hear you, and I will give you more, because the rectangle information came up consistently as lacking, I guess, or confusing. And I'm going to look into that, and I promise you that I will give you more. Let me see, what else? Just the guts to do it. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I heard this from a lot of people too. And again, I don't have names associated with this, and I didn't even get all the comments because I don't know if they were mean ones or I don't know, but the content development team just sent me selected samples of overall good comments. But the guts to do it is something that came up consistently, just to be able to do it. Or reassurance that it doesn't have to happen quickly. That was a really good point. I didn't make that point. I don't want to feel as if I have nothing left to wear because I got rid of so much. Right. Such a good point. And I will address that, and that will be fixed. Confidence in finding clothing that will fit my silhouette without needing much alterations and will fit my style. Another really good point. Confirmation. Again, that body type confirmation. And I'm wondering if that Facebook group is going to help with that. Acquiring more clothing items to fit the type. And I think, and Denise in the live video, or when we went live because the webinar got messed up and so I ended up doing a Facebook Live, blah, blah, blah. She made a really good point about, I wrote it down, but anyway, about not getting rid of everything, to make sure, and don't go shopping yet. We're not done. Don't go shopping yet until we're done with the whole program. But at least you know there's a few items you can go in and go, okay, that's not going to work. And even if you can get rid of 10 items, I think that'll make you help you feel better and give you that confidence, even if you bag it up. So that's something that we will address. Also, she said, sorry for the long answer. I think this was edited down, this one, but longer answers, the better. I love long answers. I love hearing your words and your thoughts and really I don't know, this is why most of it seems okay, but I love hearing all of that. The more words, the better. Don't feel shy about long answers, please. The longer, the better. Someone else said I need to spend more time going over the info. It's a lot to process. There's that fire hose again. I think a proofreader would help. Oh, I threw this one in here. Actually, this was mentioned to me, and I said, send me the quote because I want to put this in here. We are in beta. We are in rough draft. So I am not paying, and proofreaders are expensive, and editors. I am not paying somebody to edit a rough draft. When we get to the end, I will definitely be paying editors and proofreaders and layout and graphic design people and all that kind of stuff. They will definitely be paid, and very good money because they ain't cheap, to make the product perfect. But at this point, everything's going to be rewritten. It's going to be reformatted, and I am not paying someone to proofread a rough draft. So a proofreader would definitely help, but not yet. But thank you for that. So I just wanted to clarify that because sometimes people kind of lose track of that this is beta. And somebody wrote me that too in an email and said, seriously, this is the rough draft? I'd be willing to pay the $2,000. I can't wait to see the final draft and to see the final production of the videos and the final layouts and the worksheets and the PDFs and the downloads and the transcripts, and all of that is going to be included in the final process. So anyway, let's talk about Beta 2 and what you guys want to cover next. Number 1 requested was personal coloring. And just to go over this really quick, there are 12 seasons. There are not 4, there are 12, so we'll be covering that. What makeup goes with that particular coloring, one of those 12 seasons. working with contrast, high and medium and low contrast. I'll explain what that all means. Your hair color, your skin color, and your eye color, and how when that changes, your season will change as well. So if you're somebody that tans a lot in the summertime, you're going to change your color, your clothing colors. So that's important to know. Also, determining your color palette. What are your 2 neutrals, your 3 key colors, and your 4 accent colors? And much of this is going to be based on your personal coloring, your style personality, which we've already covered, and messaging, which was really about the psychology of color as well as your style personality. So sorry, I keep messing with these glasses. They keep sliding down. So that would be personal coloring. That was the #1 requested. #2 requested was how to accessorize. This really needs to come a little bit later, but scale and body type will be covered, levels of formality and which style personality gets shown in your accessories, touched on that with the style personalities, and then balance and symmetry. So how to accessorize is really almost like a mini course. So if you feel like you were hit with a fire hose, when we cover accessories, it's going to be another fire hose. The other topic that came up a lot is dressing for weight loss. So we've already talked about where you gain and lose weight when you're talking about your body type. So people want to explore that a little bit further. And that is actually a course I have already done. And it's kind of another fire hose. So it was actually going to be one of the bonuses, or I was considering making the bonuses. The next most requested was the lifestyle. Actually, it wasn't lifestyle analysis. It was capsule wardrobe, but it looks like my slides are out of order. So anyway, lifestyle analysis. So we will be discussing that as we talk about capsule wardrobes and we talk about other things. So again, what's in your closet as opposed to what matches up with your activities. Why is this going backwards and forwards? Is going to be different. So that's part of when we clean out your closet and we start looking more at the capsule wardrobe. Next up was the psychology of color. A lot of people were really interested in this, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the your personal coloring and your seasons, because each color means something different. So if you want to send a message to men and you wear red, but if you want to send the same message to women, you don't wear red. So those types of things, and that's all covered in the course. It's already been accomplished. I think it's because my nose is, I'm sorry. What each color means, what the message it sends, and of course, what color to wear on what part of your body to flatter your unique body type. So the psychology of color was probably going to be covered in the 3rd month. We may touch on it next month when I talk about color, but the deeper part of it will be covered later. This one amazed me. The number of times footwear came up in comments and questions. So I may be covering this earlier as opposed to later because it's a tiny, tiny little lesson. What footwear to wear for events, body types, your leg and ankle type, your skirt and trouser length, and also for your height and for your weight. And talking about vamp and round toes and pointed toes and rounded vamps and pointed vamps and high vamps and low vamps and all sorts of stuff is about shoes and footwear that a lot of people don't know. So that's upcoming as well. We touched briefly in this first month on shopping, and this entire section is going to be expanded. But it came up in the survey results that people wanted more. And I promise you there's going to be so much more in the final program. And as I add some of these things, they'll be throwing in and out, and should be able to see some of it anyway. Something else that came up with mostly mothers is talking about body image, self-esteem, building confidence, and body dysmorphic disorder. I do have some interviews I've done with specialists on eating disorders that are going to be included with the program. Not sure how much we'll get into in the beta testing, but it is going to be coming. We touched briefly on foundation garments, but we haven't talked about compression garments, which are Spanx, girdles, whatever you want to call them. The clothing psychology, dressing from sloppy to superior, alterations, touched a little bit on that, fabrics and embellishments. That'll be more in accessories. Here's the intro to capsule wardrobe. That was supposed to be mentioned earlier. That's going to be maybe month 2, maybe month 3. I'm not sure. Face shape. This really didn't get voted high, and I was really surprised. But this is another small little lesson that I think is better served closer up because your face shape determines your neckline. So I want to cover this. I'm going to be covering this, even though it got voted very low. I think it's because you don't know what you don't know type of thing. So this will be covered on might cover that next week, the first week of Beta 2. The history and fashion of style, people were very curious about. 6 occasions of dress, the 10 dress codes, and the levels of formality, and lots about grooming. the tattoos, piercings, how to handle nail care, skin care, hair care, makeup. Now, makeup's going to be covered in the season, so we've got that one covered too. Perfume is actually an existing course. That really didn't rank high. I was really surprised. I guess it depends on the time of year, because the survey, I did this once before a few years back. I did the survey right around Valentine's Day, and this one was like, oh, you got to do perfume next, so I guess it depends on the time of year. Anyway, and more things. Some of these slides are left over from last month that you've already seen. So again, just want to remind you what's required from you as a beta tester. Goose egg. Absolutely nothing is required. You're under no legal or any type of obligation to do anything, but I hope that you will go over the materials, find the mistakes, take the polls and the surveys, supply a testimonial at the end if you feel drawn to do, and help me with the launch. And of course, now we need to start thinking about a name. What are we going to call this thing? So I really want to really ramp into that as we get into month 2, is deciding on our name. Again, what is beta not? The beta is not the final Style Academy, or whatever we end up calling it. You are getting the information, but you're not getting the final product. You're not, it's a rough draft, which, like Fiona said earlier on the live show, that's why it's such an amazing price. You're not paying $2,000 for it. You're paying $97 a month, and you're getting access to amazing information for a fraction of what it's going to cost. So, I mean, so many people have really said that they're already getting their money's worth the first week. So that made me feel good. Matter of fact, it's that whole fire hose thing. You're giving me too much. So I try to over deliver, but apparently I'm over delivering. So, and you're not going to have access to this forever. Matter of fact, go back and take your notes or screenshots or whatever you want from beta 1, because that's going to be pulled so that I can start perfecting that as we move into beta 2. And remember, at the end, we're pretty set on this price at $19.97. That's kind of a going price. It's going to be up to you what all is included in the Style Academy for that price. Do we include all of this stuff, or do you think it should only be a select number of things? And that you're going to help us decide. Beta 2 is $97. If you choose that, you have 2 options. Again, like I said earlier below, if you already know you want to be involved in 2 and 3, click that 2 and 3 button below. If you just, I'm just going to take it 1 month at a time, I'm just going to see how this one goes, then you can just click the beta 2 button. So the beta 2 and 3, you have 2 options with that. You can pay it all at once, or you can pay one this month and then the next one, the other 97 next month. If you know of anybody that wants to start over with beta 1, I'm accepting new people to go through the beta 1 materials as I start polishing them up. That'll just be a different group. But remember, you have to be part of beta 1 to get into beta 2. So if you know somebody that wants to do this, they can't jump in where you are right now. That's not fair, because you paid for beta 1 and beta 2 and beta 3. It's not fair that they just jump in at beta 3 and get everything. You know what I mean? I don't think that's fair to you. So again, you'll be a member of the launch team. Go through this really quick. You'll get part of the affiliate program. Everybody that you recommend, you get a percentage of the retail, and I'm very generous with my retail percentages. So you're a higher percentage for that too. And then as we go on and we get closer toward the end, I'm already kind of giving you hints at what some of those bonuses are going to be. But just know that I tend to be overly generous, and my business manager is the one that has to pull me back. So I try to be as generous as possible. So I hope that answers all your questions. I can't tell you how excited I am at how much you've embraced this project and made it your own, because this is such a passion for me. And I just want to teach and inspire women to be more than they think they can be, to know that they're enough, and to help them live a balanced life. Because, when you are dressed in an outfit that makes you look and feel like $1 million, you're not thinking about yourself. It allows you to be of service to others, because you're not tugging and pulling and worried about how something looks and if your glasses keep falling off your face and that kind of thing. So thank you for embracing this project and giving it your passion and joining your passion with mine. It just means so much to me, because I love helping women, and I'm so happy to have you helping me to help women, because together we can do so much more. All right. If you have any questions, pop me an email. Otherwise, I will see you inside the membership area with round 2 of beta testing. Thank you. God bless you, and see you soon. Bye.